Please, Don, can you conduct opening prayer?
Yes,
Everybody stands up.
Thank you, everybody. Dear Lord God, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for those that came out. And we just pray, Lord, for those who will be speaking this evening. It's important to impart information to voters so we know what the issues are, guide us in our thinking, and guide us in decision making as to what and how we should be voting this year. We do pray, Lord, for a red wave to happen in November, and we just pray, Lord, for each of us, Lord, to be messengers of what people should be voting for this year. We thank you and praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've been given the honor to lead the group in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, all of you who are not veterans, you hand over your heart. Veterans, pursuant to the flag statute, you can render the military salute on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to start by acknowledging those who are running this November who will be on the ballot. We have quite a few tonight. Please welcome Ellen Porter, who is running for Riverside Valley Parks and Recs, District Number 5. Also have Mr. Guy Viva, who's running for Mayor of Monica Valley.
Can you use the microphone? Microphone? Might be easier to. Just a suggestion.
Who is running for California Assembly District.
I tried. I just think it's a better idea.
Before getting started, I want to remind you that we have a raffle with incredible prices.
It just means you command.
If you are interested in purchasing your tickets, please go see Ruben. Tickets are $2 for one, 3 tickets for $5. We're offering a Trump $100 bill and a Trump beer cover, Kosakis beer, and also some wine, pasta sauce, and the matching pasta gelée. Riverside Republican Assembly sticker.
Okay.
Well, last month, we opened our meeting by sharing what we thought was the #1 issue in American politics today. And many of us mentioned the attacks on the First Amendment and the freedom of speech. Well, with last week's event, I can tell that we have a few visionaries in this audience. We are now living in a moment of tyranny and injustice, backed by the tech companies, the government of the left, and forces we don't even know. We risk losing a certain way of life that took centuries to shaping. Winston Churchill once said, Kevin is going to read a quote of Winston Churchill.
So Winston Churchill once said that since the dawn of the Christian era, a certain way of life has slowly been shaping itself among the Western peoples, and certain standards of conduct in government have come to be esteemed. After many miseries and prolonged confusion, there arose into the broad light of day the conception of the right of the individual's right to be consulted in the government of his country, his right to invoke the law even against the state itself. Independent courts of justice were created to affirm and enforce this hard-won custom. This was assured throughout the English-speaking world and in France by the stern lessons of the Revolution.
Thank you, Kevin. But today we are being confronted by censorship. Censorship not by the government, but by certain companies who have become more powerful than certain governments have ever been.
We can't have that.
Why has the media censored Alex Jones? Well, at the same time, breaking a story, which is probably the #1 espionage scandal of our time, Dianne Feinstein, who had a spy driver and run her office for 20 years. Dianne Feinstein, from the Senate Intelligence Committee, had a Chinese spy working for her for 20 years. And that issue affects everyone, left, right, and center. This is a war for the defense of freedom and our way of life. So do you know what Nancy Pelosi thinks about conservative programs? Well, she's not a big fan. She thinks it's a huge threat and an advantage for the Republican. And her and all of her companions in Washington, they want to find a way to limit it. The same forces are trying to ban talk radio, internet websites, and now they are backed by the power of Facebook. In many ways, they are the tyrants of today.
Yes.
What I'm saying is all about the survival of free speech. You might think Facebook is run by Mark Zuckerberg. He's a brilliant guy who built an incredible company. He's known worldwide, so he can do everything. But can he? Do companies have unlimited power of censorship? Has it ever been tested in courts? Not yet. It might be in the future. After all, if Facebook and other social giants were constrained by the same rules as public companies using the public airwaves,
Yes.
they will be forced to adhere to the FCC, Federal Commission Committee rules, and they would have a hard time trying to ban someone they don't like. But unfortunately, they are not using the public airwaves. I would love to tell Zuckerberg that he's abusing his power through his egomania, narcissism, and quest for profits. Now, we live in standard times. The government will step in when a company gets too large and break this company apart. Well, you know that we have antitrust laws in the US. And let me take you back to 100 years ago, when Standard Oil was the only dominating oil force in the US. One giant, built by the genius, John D. Rockefeller. The only problem was that they controlled the entire oil business. Then the US government stepped in and broke them up, forcing an antitrust action to break the monopoly and create smaller companies. This allowed businesses to compete against the giant. Should the US government today step in and break Facebook monopoly so we can have various opinions? Would you
Yes.
agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's a public space.
Do you think that it's right for someone to ban another because they disagree with his views?
No, that's
I think
wrong.
so.
We're not having that.
And those social giants, their standards are pretty far left. You know what far left means? Very low standards, right?
Communist.
I mean, for example, take a look at the New York Times. They hired a new writer. She hates white men and the police. And so is the publisher.
Will you be there when they start turning the hoses on me? You gotta be there.
1 second.
We'll be there.
About her opinion and how they can affect the New York Times. It didn't matter to him. Well, it's all about free speech and how much government should control it. In England, Tommy Robinson was put in prison for reporting on a trial about Muslims in Europe. He was banned from all the social giants. England was a nation that led the world in thoughts about the right of man. They gave us the Magna Carta. But now that the leftists have taken over England and are being controlled by people coming from, let's say, a fascist background, they are turning England more and more into a country it should have never been. A lot of people think it's okay to ban Alex Jones.
No.
They don't like his style. But when they came for Alex Jones, and you didn't lift your voice, who will be there for you? Alex Jones said some very offensive things about his speech. The First Amendment was meant to protect offensive speech. Don't ever forget that. Polite speech doesn't need any protection. Many don't know exactly what the First Amendment is. But let me tell you, there is no First Amendment in England or in France.
Or Canada.
And we have a First Amendment in the USA. And that's one of the main reasons why the USA is the best country on earth.
Yes.
I'm going to let Arthur
Okay.
Schaefer speak a little bit
Shopper.
about an issue
Mike,
very important, the
Take
Assembly bill.
the can. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, good evening, Riverside. How are you doing? Oh, that's a lot better. I think that in spite of so much rancor against the First Amendment, we have a lot actually going for us. Tommy Robinson was finally released. I have never seen so many protests that have been swirling throughout London and the surrounding cities. So we've got to keep that in mind. And there's finally a wake-up call when we see all of these people being demonetized and shut down on these different social media platforms. I think that a lot of people forget it wasn't Al Gore who invented the internet. And it certainly doesn't belong to him. It is a public forum. And because of that, our rights must be protected. So anyone who makes the argument that we're violating our libertarian or limited government views, no, we've never said no government. The government's there to protect our rights. So that means Mark Zuckerberg doesn't get to infringe on them. And neither does the state legislature. My big issue now, why I was invited, thank you so much, Kevin, for having me here, AB 2943. How many of you have heard of it? Okay, every hand should be up. AB 2943 is a bill that, if it passes, would essentially ban the Bible in the state of California. Now, speaking to the specifics, this is legislation that would ban something called reparative therapy. Adults who, if they have same-sex issues, gender dysphoria, and they want help, this is the private right of an individual. This bill would forbid them from doing that, and would forbid any professional or parent or pediatrician or any pastor who wants to provide help from doing so. It would be under the aegis of consumer fraud, which is outrageous. Dr. David Pickup is a friend of mine. He is a reparative therapist from Encino, California, and he has saved countless lives. Men and women who have been molested, abused, maligned, abandoned, they struggle with their identity. They struggle with the relationships they want to foster. And no one should take away from them the right to live their lives peacefully, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Those are the rights that are God-given and no government should interfere with. AB 2943 is designed precisely to interrupt that. Now, this bill, because of the uproar across the state, churches are finally waking up. The body of Christ has stopped sleeping. They started walking and started fighting. Connie Leyva, one of the most liberal state senators, got 3,000 calls from one church only. The outrage is so great that they delayed the bill. It is ready for a final floor vote. They call it a third reading. It's been delayed already a month and a half. We have until August 31st. There is a hard deadline. Any legislation that goes to the governor's desk must pass out of both houses by August 31st. It's already August 13th. There is not one senator who has taken a stand who wants to be the floor manager for this awful bill. We have the opportunity to make sure that they kill this thing outright, and we should be telling the author, Evan Lowe, he's an assemblyman for Cupertino, that he should withdraw this terrible, tyrannical piece of legislation. Now, why am I in Riverside? Because you've got a state senator here who wants to lay low. His name is Richard Roth. And Richard Roth needs to hear a phone call from every single one of you. Put your hand up, please. I will call on you, but just let me finish, because I don't have a lot of time to begin with. Richard Roth is one of 10 Democratic state senators that we are slamming twice as hard. Because he should have never won in 2012, and he definitely shouldn't have won in 2016. And you know what? We've already recalled one bad state senator. What's to stop us from going after Richard Roth next? That needs to be the message. Yeah, you should clap for that. You know, you guys get really wicked up here. Orange County woke up. People thought OC was going to go blue. And I remember Riverside was one of the reddest counties in the state. There's nothing to stop that from happening again. So we need calls, we need emails. I want to help organize visits to his district office right here in Riverside. That's why I'm here in part. I'm partnering with Kevin. The information you're sharing, I'll be able to work and give you all the resources you need to stop this. We've got state senators up and down that we can go after. I've gone to an office today. I went to one on Friday. No matter how liberal they claim to be, when they hear outright constituents who are fed up with their rights being trampled upon, they start to back off. So don't think that this is an issue that's going to pass under the radar. It's already been made aware. State senators are terrified of this. My email for this issue, arthur@massresistance.org. Very briefly, I've taken on a new position with the pro-family group, Mass Resistance, based in Massachusetts, where the gay marriage decision was forced down our throats to begin with. Our group has now gone international. We have chapters in Hong Kong, Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and we're opening up chapters. We have one in California. I'm heading that for now, as well as Maryland, North Carolina, Maine, blue states, red states. We're fighting on every front against this LGBT hate machine, which wants to turn their privilege into an absolute right while the rest of us are treated as second-class citizens. So, I don't want to see that happen. I want to see the fight against this. Kevin and I are going to work together. We need everybody going after Richard Roth. Tell him no on AB 2943. Don't touch our Word of God. Don't touch our First Amendment rights. And let adults make the decisions they want to live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to the fullest. Really quick questions? You have one? Go ahead.
Yeah, just a comment. If you look at the co-authors of AB 2943, you're going to see Sabrina Cervantes on there. So, if you don't have enough reasons to vote for Bill Staley already, and tell all your friends to vote for Bill Staley already, there's one more.
Tie that around them. And also for Medina, so this guy's knocking him out. That guy also, just to remind you, Medina wanted to shut down homeschools across the state. That was his bill. And there were so many angry parents that were lined up around the state capitol, the guy couldn't even get a second to get a vote on his terrible legislation. I've never heard of that happening before. Where was everybody when 277 was shoved down our throats? I guess that's what it took for people to wake up. This is real, folks. Let's stop being surprised. Let's start being outraged and go after this. I have cards if you want them. Kevin's going to share your contact info with me, but don't just sit here and say Richard Roth sucks. He needs to hear it from you. You call him, you email him, and don't stop there. You've got other bad state senators throughout the state. I went after Ed Hernandez today. I went after Portantino last week, just to let you know how scared they are. And just wrap me up, Kevin, if I'm gone too far. Let me know when my time's up. Portantino, Lib Dem, he beat Mike Antonovich, who was a stellar conservative in northern LA County. And yet now he's feeling the heat. He personally tried to stop this bill in a committee where it shouldn't have even been there. That's the kind of pull we're already seeing. They're starting to get scared. Don't let up. We need to double down on this. We've already got the victory. We need until August 31st. That's the deadline. They have to pass it out of the state Senate. And we can do this. We've already watered down or stopped other bad bills. This is one that we should be able to throw down and say, you're not doing this, you've gone too far. We have rights. You either respect them or get out of the State House.
That's right.
That's right.
If you folks are not familiar with Assembly Bill 1810, look it up. Assembly Bill 1810 is a get out of jail free card. And basically, it defers the process of putting criminals in jail.
And that's the fight we fight.
Where, for example, a criminal commits a crime, a heinous